You're watching Swipe. Here's what we've got for you on this week's show. Virtual reality in the dock. Alex looks at how VR could shape the future of criminal trials. I meet the fearless under-12s who've launched an app to help conquer phobias. And we've got the hotly anticipated successor to a cult classic in our games review. Welcome to Swipe. We're going to kick off this week with yet another reason to sit up and pay attention to virtual reality technology. Alex has been to see how some of the kit gamers have at home could soon have a place in the courtroom.
Now, if you're like me, when you see a VR headset like this, you're probably thinking gaming, leisure, movies, entertainment. And that's where most of the focus, most of the excitement about virtual reality has been. But it's that ability to put us in a virtual world, to take us to a place, any place, indeed places that might have changed, that has got forensic experts excited about the prospect of using this in criminal courts.
This is a demo that we've produced to show the power of VR when it comes to using it as a crime scene investigation tool.
Sean is an expert witness who uses the latest tech to present and interpret evidence in court. Working from photographs, he's recreated a two-bedroom house, the scene of a mock-up crime. You can explore and get your bearings, but without the risk of contaminating the scene.
You could actually put your head out the window if you wish to have a look up and down the street at this point.
Okay, and it's like I'm looking out the window, so I can see the perspective they would have had from inside the living room, up and down the street.
It allows you to interact with critical pieces of evidence in context, seeing where they were discovered and how all the pieces fit together.
We can put a number of different types of exhibits. If you bring up that particular piece of evidence there, you should now be listening to a 999 call.
Fully free to place that now.
I think someone's in my house. I can hear some noises downstairs.
Far from being specialised gear, it's the same kit you might see used by gamers. And by using this equipment, Sean hopes to slash the cost of trials and remove the need for juries to visit crime scenes in person.
We expect maybe a witness would utilise the VR headset to explain a little bit better about what they saw or where they were positioned, or perhaps maybe that they couldn't see something as well might be just as important. Creative England helped Sean bring the idea to fruition and now lists his company as one of their 10 future leaders. However, tech like this is yet to see action in a UK court.
Now the thing is, critics say that with many of our courts still without Wi-Fi, talk of VR is getting ahead of ourselves. But that's not stopped the enthusiasm of developers across the UK. And they're predicting we could see this technology, with the right backing, in our courts in the next 12 to 18 months.
It's an expanding field. Up in Durham, researchers are working on rovers that use 360-degree video to record crime scenes, while other universities are developing their own research into how VR can be used to analyse and present evidence. There is appetite to modernise the system, so VR developers claim all they need is the right case and a judge willing to try it out. You can be sure, though, if we do see the technology in action, the kit will very much be in the dock. The verdict? Well, I'll leave that one to the judges. Alex Morgan, Sky News.
Stay with us. Still to come here on Swipe, I'll be learning how to make friends with spiders. It is more techie than it sounds. That's coming right up after a roundup of this week's tech news. Bosses from Google, Facebook and Twitter face tough questions from MPs about hate crime. In a parliamentary inquiry, the tech giant said it's impossible to catch or prevent every abusive post. 2 Russian spies were among 4 people charged with masterminding one of the biggest hacks of all time, the theft of 500 million Yahoo accounts in 2014. Young people will be able to get counselling through a new app launched by Childline. For Me was invented by a group of teenagers. It lets users chat directly with a counsellor. And 2 teenagers from Loughborough were named Young Engineers of the Year at the Big Bang competition for inventing a vest that warns people with epilepsy when they're about to have a fit. It can apparently give the wearer up to 8 minutes notice. Stick around for our games review. It's party time. Before that, though. Now, let's talk about fear. Sounds a bit random for a tech show, I know, but you'll get what I mean when you see this next segment about my trip to visit a group of junior school pupils this week. And if you don't like creepy crawlies, you might want to look away for the next 2.5 minutes.
Hi, I'm Kira and I'm 11.
I'm Thomas, I'm 10.
I'm Poppy and I'm 11.
I'm Jay and I'm 10.
I'm Anwen and I'm 11.
We have designed an app called Fear Nothing.
These students are about to give me a lesson in phobia management. They've made an app to help people overcome a fear of spiders. It's called Fear Nothing.
We did some coding and made a mock-up of a moving spider. We just want you to get gradually used to seeing them.
They came up with the idea after being set the task of creating an app to solve a real-life problem. I've got a question. Why did you decide to develop an app to help people who are afraid of spiders?
First of all, we were going to do at least 5 animals, but then we were like, that's too complicated. So we went with the most popular one, and as you can see here, is spiders.
It works a bit like exposure therapy, getting you to learn about spiders and play around with increasingly real images until your fear starts to disappear.
Basically, stage 6 is like stage 5, that you're not harming it, because then you might take it in.
There's augmented reality too.
Then you can see that it is 3D.
The children spent 6 months developing the app with help from the likes of Thomson Reuters and Samsung. There it is. It was all part of a programme run by Apps for Good, a charity that works with schools. Have I got to dodge it or just get used to it?
Get used to it.
Last month, Fear Nothing launched on Google's Play Store. Ooh. The app market is an overcrowded one, but I'm assured this project isn't about making money.
They've just been launched for a month, so they're just getting going. But I think what's exciting is that this is a product by young people for young people. So it's about the confidence that they're gaining, they're learning to tackle problems, they're learning to work collaboratively in a team. So that's actually what's more important, will help set them up for success in the future.
Are children better at coming up with ideas than adults?
Oh, absolutely, definitely. I think children have the imagination when they play. They can create things from nothing. They can create their own worlds. They can turn a stick into a gun or a sword. They can turn a piece of rope into a snake or whatever. When we get to adults, we're a little bit less imaginative.
But has the app worked for its makers?
Ooh. When my sister's in bed, she gets really scared when she looks up and sees spiders on the ceiling. So I can now help her get them off.
Oh, excellent.
I'm fine with the small spiders, but the larger ones are more scary.
It's been a success for them, but I might need a bit more time. Watch out! Oh my goodness me! Games review time now, and it's Dave's turn this week. Here he is with his pick of current titles.
1-2 Switch is the game you'll probably whip out if you're the kind of person that Nintendo advertises as the guy who brings his Switch to a house party. It's a collection of 28 mini-games that uses the Joy-Con controllers to simulate movement, vibration and motion. Now these games can range from anything from shaking a virtual soda bottle to a cowboy showdown, catching samurai swords or even knight fights. They're all designed around the concept of looking your opponent in the eye. And while they're exciting and funny and hilarious to bring at a house party or with some close friends, it's just a shame that they can get dry quite quickly.
Nintendo Switch!
Sniper Elite 4 is a game that rewards patience and accuracy with gratuitous violence. You play as Carl Fairburn, who was dropped into the Italian theatre of war during World War II. Now your objective is to stop an Axis power superweapon, and you do this by going from level to level, taking out a target, or finding enemy intel, or crippling an enemy defense. The levels in 1940s Italy are beautiful and massive, and it really reinforces the aspects of exploration and skulking and stealth that Sniper Elite tries to get across. You're one man against a huge army of Axis powers, so you must use the element of surprise against you. Taking to rooftops or hiding in bushes to snipe your enemies from afar is a must, but it's important to know that you must move and relocate, as clever enemies will actually find you if you stay in one position for too long. Torment Tides of Numenera is a new game that is trying to capture the old school feeling of those 1990s RPG games. You play as the last cast-off, a being who was once occupied by an all-seeing entity, but is now empty, filled with a new personality and being chased by something called the Sorrow. Now the backbone of this game is its story and its lore. There are thousands upon thousands of lines of dialogue, rich detailed stories, rich narratives. Each character will have their own story for you to explore at your will. Combat is turn-based, true to its RPG roots, and while it starts simple, as you progress through the game, creating new characters or collecting party members, it can soon become a strategic back and forth, a kind of cat-and-mouse game between ability use, fleeing, or using any suite of your weapons at your disposal. If you're looking for a game to sink endless hours in, full of stories, both weird and wonderful, then Torment Tides of Numenera might be the game for you.
Seize your life.
So that's it for this week's show, but don't forget you can watch any of our episodes on demand in all the usual places. And why not follow us on Twitter at Sky News Swipe? Then you can see what we get up to throughout the week. I'll be back next time. I hope you can join us then too. Bye-bye.